Listen to me. Not everyone will know your worth. Not everyone will appreciate the magic you bring into their lives. And that's their loss. But here's the truth. If you want to command respect, if you want to hold power in your relationships, you must make them feel the pain of losing you. Not through games, not through cruelty, but through becoming so undeniably valuable that your absence echoes in their heart like a haunting melody. This is not about revenge, it's about self-respect. It's about realizing your own value and never settling for anything less than what you deserve. Owning your value is not just about knowing you're good enough. It's about recognizing that you are extraordinary, unique, and irreplaceable. It's the foundation of every decision you make, every boundary you set, every relationship you nurture or leave behind. Imagine a diamond in a rough marketplace. It doesn't need to shout to be noticed. Its brilliance is undeniable because it knows its worth. You too are that diamond. But here's the catch. If you don't own your value, others won't either. Too often, we fall into the trap of seeking validation from the world, from a partner, a friend, or even strangers. But validation is fleeting, like sand slipping through your fingers. True power comes from within. When you own your value, you stop looking for permission to be yourself. You don't lower your standards just to keep someone around. You don't change who you are to fit into someone else's mold. You become unshakable. Think about a mother who tirelessly works day and night to provide for her family. She doesn't do it for applause. She does it because she knows her worth. Her family's happiness depends on her strength and sacrifice. She owns her value in her actions, even when no one says thank you. Or take the story of an artist who creates because their soul demands expression, not because of likes or followers. They own their value in every stroke of the brush, every note they sing. Their worth isn't defined by external approval. It's embedded in the passion they pour into their craft. Owning your value means you recognize your time is precious. You don't waste it on people who drain your energy or on situations that dim your light. Picture a successful entrepreneur who walks away from a lucrative deal because it compromises their integrity. They understand their value is far greater than money. They choose peace over profit, authenticity over shortcuts. That is owning your value. Making choices that honor who you are at your core. There's a powerful truth here. When you own your value, you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. People will either recognize your worth or they won't. And that's their problem, not yours. You don't chase respect. You command it by standing firm in your self-belief. Think about the woman who leaves a toxic relationship. She doesn't beg for love or explanations. She knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. In that act of courage, she becomes unstoppable. Owning your value also means embracing your flaws and imperfections. You don't hide them, you wear them like badges of honor. Because your scars tell stories of survival. Your mistakes are lessons that sharpen your wisdom. And your vulnerabilities are the bridges that connect you to humanity. Imagine a singer who once failed spectacularly, but kept returning to the stage because they believed in their voice. Their resilience, fueled by self-worth, made them legendary. Every time you doubt yourself or compare yourself to others, remind yourself of this. You are a universe of possibilities. The moment you accept that, fear loses its grip. You become a force that moves mountains. Not by brute strength, but by unwavering belief. You don't settle for crumbs when you're meant to feast. You don't stay silent when you deserve to be heard. You don't dim your light because others can't handle your shine. Owning your value is the radical act of loving yourself fiercely and unapologetically. It's waking up every morning and choosing you first. It's saying no to what doesn't serve your growth and yes to what feeds your soul. When you own your value, you create a life that others admire from afar. A life where you are the prize, not the plan. You are here to lead, to inspire, and to show the world what it means to own your worth. Every step you take with confidence echoes the message that you are enough. More than enough. And when you live like that, the world can't help but take notice. Setting unmistakable boundaries is one of the most powerful acts of self-love and self-respect you can ever do. It's the clear, unshakable line you draw around your time, your energy, your heart. A line that says, this is where I end and you begin. Too often, people mistake boundaries for selfishness or coldness. But the truth is, boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships, success, and inner peace. Without them, you give away your power, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but exhaustion and resentment. Think about a garden. If you don't fence it, if you don't protect it from weeds and wild animals, the flowers won't grow. Your soul is that garden. Boundaries are the fence. When you set clear limits on what you will and will not accept, you protect your growth, your happiness, your sanity. Consider the story of a friend who always said yes to everything. Every favor, every call, every invitation, until she was drained, invisible, and burned out. She thought pleasing everyone was love. But love without boundaries is like water poured into a cracked vase. It leaks away, leaving emptiness behind. One day, she learned to say no. She stopped answering texts at midnight, stopped sacrificing her weekends, stopped tolerating disrespect. At first, people were shocked. Why are you so cold? They said. But she knew the truth. She was not cold. She was clear. She was protecting her peace. And in that clarity, she found freedom. Setting boundaries is also about speaking your truth without apology. It's about saying, this is how I expect to be treated. When a colleague interrupts you repeatedly, or when a partner dismisses your feelings, it's not weakness to speak up, it's strength. It's a declaration that your voice matters. Picture a CEO who insists on respectful communication in her company. She sets standards. She makes it clear that toxic behavior will not be tolerated. Because she knows a toxic environment kills creativity, productivity, and respect. She sets boundaries not to intimidate, but to cultivate greatness. Boundaries can be emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. You might need to limit how much emotional energy you spend on someone who constantly drains you. Or protect your physical space by saying no to unwanted touch or closeness. You might guard your mental space by refusing to engage in gossip or negative conversations. You might nurture your spiritual space by dedicating time to meditation, prayer, or silence, even if others don't understand. Every boundary you set is a brick in the fortress of your self-respect. Imagine a young woman in a relationship where her partner frequently disrespects her opinions or makes hurtful jokes at her expense. At first she laughs it off, hoping he'll change, but deep down the pain grows. One day she says firmly, I will not accept disrespect in my life. She doesn't shout, doesn't scream, she just states her boundary. And the moment she does, something shifts. Either he respects it, or she walks away. That boundary becomes her shield. Boundaries aren't static. They evolve with you. What you tolerated 5 years ago may no longer serve you today. What felt comfortable yesterday might feel suffocating now. That's why setting boundaries requires self-awareness and courage. It means checking in with yourself regularly and asking, am I protecting my peace? Am I honoring my worth? When the answer is no, it's time to adjust the line. And here's the paradox. The stronger your boundaries, the closer your relationships become. When you know your limits and communicate them clearly, you teach others how to love you properly. You filter out those who don't deserve your space and energy. You attract people who value, respect, and cherish you. Think of a close friendship that deepens after you've had an honest conversation about what you need. The distance created by boundaries often leads to greater closeness and understanding. There is no shame in putting yourself first. No guilt in saying no. No weakness in drawing the line. In fact, it takes tremendous strength to hold firm to your boundaries, especially when people push back. But remember, every time you compromise your boundaries, you chip away at your soul. Every time you stand firm, you build yourself up stronger than before. Every day, millions of people live lives without boundaries. Overcommitting, people-pleasing, tolerating disrespect. But you have the power to be different, to be bold, to be clear, to be unmistakable. When you set boundaries, you tell the world you matter. You tell yourself you matter. And that, my dear, is the beginning of true freedom. Investing in yourself is the most important decision you will ever make. It's the seed you plant today that will grow into the towering tree of your future success, happiness, and fulfillment. But investing in yourself isn't just about money. It's about time, energy, and belief. It's about saying, I am worth the effort. I am worth the investment. Imagine if you treated yourself like the most valuable asset in your life. Because you are. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They invested deeply in themselves before expecting the world to invest in them. Think about a student who dedicates hours every day to mastering a skill, practicing relentlessly despite setbacks. The world might not recognize their potential immediately, but they believe in their own growth so fiercely that failure becomes just another step on their journey. Investing in yourself means showing up even when motivation is low, because you know the payoff will be worth every ounce of effort. Look at the entrepreneur who spends sleepless nights learning about marketing, leadership, and finance, not because it's easy, but because they know that their business's success depends on their knowledge and growth. They don't see those late nights as sacrifice. They see it as an investment in their dreams. This mindset transforms struggle into opportunity, pain into power. When you invest in yourself, you rewrite your story. Investing in yourself also means taking care of your body and mind. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Imagine an artist who wakes up early to meditate, nourishing their mind with calmness and clarity before facing the chaos of the day. They eat well, move their body, and rest because they know their creativity thrives when they are healthy. Self-care is an indulgence. It's a strategic investment. When you honor your body and mind, you increase your capacity to perform, to create, to love. There's also an emotional and spiritual investment. You might spend time journaling to understand your fears, reading books that expand your perspective, or seeking therapy to heal wounds. This inner work is the foundation of resilience. It's like sharpening a sword before battle. Without this investment, challenges will break you. With it, you become unstoppable. Think about a woman who always put others first, family, friends, colleagues, but finally decided to invest time in learning new skills, attending workshops, or even traveling alone to discover herself. Her world expanded because she dared to believe that she deserved more. That investment wasn't selfish. It was transformative. It unlocked new doors she never imagined and taught her that her potential is limitless. Investing in yourself requires courage because it often means stepping out of your comfort zone. It's easy to stay where it's familiar, even if it's painful. But growth happens when you push past fear. The moment you decide to enroll in that course, start that habit, or chase that passion, you send a powerful message to yourself and the universe. You believe in your worth. Money invested in education, health, or personal growth is never wasted. It's the best kind of currency, one that appreciates over time. Compare it to buying a fancy gadget or a luxury item that loses value the moment you walk out of the store. Investing in yourself compounds daily. Your confidence grows, your skills sharpen, your mindset expands, and your opportunities multiply. You notice people who invest in themselves don't just survive, they have that radiant confidence because they know their worth is not tied to anyone else's approval. They walk into rooms with heads held high because they've put in the work to deserve their place. This kind of self-investment is magnetic. It draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right success. Remember, the best investment you can make is in your growth, your knowledge, your health, and your dream. When you invest in yourself, you send a message that you are ready to receive more. More love, more success, more happiness. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. It's not selfishness, it's survival. And when you start treating yourself as the most valuable asset you have, the world cannot help but notice and respond. Every step you take to invest in yourself, no matter how small, is a step toward a life of purpose and power. You are worthy of every moment, every dollar, and every ounce of effort you give yourself. When you truly invest in yourself, you unlock a version of you that the world desperately needs. The strongest, most authentic, and most unstoppable you. There is an incredible power in silence that many overlook in a world obsessed with noise. Constant talking, reacting, and proving. Letting your silence speak volumes is not about withdrawing because you lack a voice. It's about choosing when and how to use that voice with the greatest impact. Sometimes, the loudest message you can send is no message at all. Silence can be a language of strength, confidence, and clarity that words can never match. Imagine a situation where someone tries to provoke you, pushing buttons, seeking a reaction to feed their ego. The typical response might be to argue, defend, or explain yourself endlessly. But what if you didn't? What if you simply stayed silent, calm, and composed? That silence can disarm, confuse, and make the other person realize their attempts to disturb you are futile. It's not weakness, it's mastery over your emotions and your energy. When you let silence speak, you are saying more than words ever could. I am above this. I am in control. Look at the leaders, the powerful figures in history and today who understand this deeply. When faced with chaos or conflict, their silence creates space for reflection, for truth to emerge. They don't rush to fill every moment with noise because they know silence is where wisdom is born. Think of a CEO in a heated boardroom meeting who listens intently and speaks only when her words will cut through the noise and shift the entire conversation. Her silence commands respect. It shows confidence. It proves that she is not desperate for attention. Her presence is enough. There's also an emotional power in silence. When someone hurts you or disrespects you, your silence can communicate your worth far more effectively than anger or tears. It's the pause that lets them understand the gravity of their actions without you needing to explain. Imagine a woman who is constantly undervalued by a partner, and instead of begging for respect or shouting accusations, she chooses silence. That silence becomes a mirror reflecting the pain back to him. It's a powerful message. If you don't see my value, then I will not waste my voice on you. Silence can also protect your peace. In a world where gossip spreads like wildfire, sometimes not responding is the best armor. When rumors or falsehoods swirl around you, staying silent allows the truth to reveal itself naturally. Every word you don't speak is energy saved, space preserved, and dignity maintained. Picture a young artist whose work is criticized harshly by others. Instead of engaging in battles on social media, she chooses silence and lets her art speak for itself. Over time, her silence becomes louder than any insult, proving that her value is not dependent on anyone's approval. Silence also invites introspection. It is in moments of quiet that we meet ourselves fully, without distraction. When you resist the urge to fill every silence with noise, whether through scrolling, talking, or reacting, you give yourself the gift of presence. Imagine waking up early and sitting in stillness, listening to your own heartbeat and thoughts. That silence is a conversation with your soul, a way to realign with your true purpose. The louder the world becomes, the more essential it is to find sanctuary in silence. Letting silence speak also means choosing not to explain yourself to those who don't understand or appreciate you. Often we spend too much time justifying our choices, actions, and dreams. But some people will never get it. And that's okay. You don't owe anyone your explanations. Silence here is a shield, a refusal to be diminished by misunderstanding. Think of a woman who decides to leave a toxic environment. Instead of defending her decision to everyone, she quietly moves forward, letting her actions speak louder than any words ever could. Silence in moments of conflict can also be a powerful form of self-respect. When you don't argue or fight for respect from those who refuse to give it, you demonstrate that your worth is non-negotiable. It shows you don't need to lower yourself to be heard. Silence becomes a powerful boundary, a statement that you will not engage in anything that diminishes your dignity. Finally, silence can be a source of mystery and allure. When you don't reveal everything about yourself, when you hold back some thoughts and feelings, you create a magnetic presence. People are drawn to what they don't fully understand. Imagine the quiet confidence of a person who doesn't need to explain their achievements or justify their presence. Their silence invites curiosity, respect, and admiration. Choosing silence is not about being passive or weak. It's about harnessing your energy, protecting your peace, and communicating your strength in a way words never can. When you learn to let your silence speak volumes, you step into a power that is rare, magnetic, and deeply inspiring. Living your life fully means stepping into every moment with intention, passion, and an unshakable commitment to your own joy and purpose. It's not about waiting for the perfect time, the ideal circumstance, or permission from anyone else. Life is happening right now, in this very breath, and to truly live is to embrace all its colors, the bright, the dark, the messy, and the beautiful. Imagine a painter who refuses to dip their brush into vibrant colors because they fear making a mistake. What kind of masterpiece will ever come from that? Living fully means grabbing the brush with courage and painting boldly, even if the strokes aren't perfect. Look at someone who wakes up each day with excitement, not because their life is flawless, but because they have chosen to see possibility in every challenge. A single mother working tirelessly might feel exhausted and overwhelmed, yet she chooses to laugh with her children, to savor small victories, and to dream bigger than her circumstances. She lives fully not because life is easy, but because she refuses to let hardship steal her spirit. This is a lesson for all of us. Living fully is not about external perfection, but internal resilience. Consider the person who decides to pursue a passion late in life, whether it's writing a book, starting a business, or traveling to a new country. Many hold back, trapped by fear or doubt, waiting for someday. But someday often never arrives. To live fully is to act now, to break free from hesitation and say, "This is my moment." Every day spent delaying your dreams is a day lost forever. The beauty of living fully is that it's accessible to everyone, regardless of age, background, or situation. It's a choice to show up authentically, to chase what makes your heart race, and to cherish the people who make life richer. Living fully also means embracing vulnerability. It means allowing yourself to feel deeply joy, pain, love, and loss without shutting down. Think of a dancer who pours their soul into every movement, feeling every beat and emotion as if it's the last dance of their life. That intensity, that openness to experience is the essence of living fully. It requires courage, because to live fully is to risk heartbreak, failure, and disappointment. But it also opens the door to the greatest joys and growth. You cannot have one without the other. There's a powerful lesson in nature's cycles that reminds us to live fully. The seasons do not hesitate. The trees bloom in spring, shed leaves in autumn, and rest in winter without regret or resistance. They live their cycle fully. We too must honor our seasons, times of growth, times of letting go, and times of rest, without judgment or delay. Living fully means respecting your own rhythm and trusting that every phase has purpose. Imagine the joy of a traveler who explores new cultures, not just to tick off places on a list, but to immerse themselves in the richness of unfamiliar experiences, food, and people. They collect memories, not possessions. Living fully means prioritizing experiences that nourish your soul over material things that fade. It means saying yes to adventure, curiosity, and the unknown, even when it feels uncomfortable. Living fully also means cultivating gratitude for what you have right now, not waiting until some future milestone to feel worthy of happiness. Picture a person who wakes each morning and names 3 things they're grateful for: sunlight through the window, the smell of fresh coffee, a kind word from a stranger. This simple practice shifts perspective and opens the heart to receive more joy. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into celebrations of life. Everyday acts can be infused with fullness: a smile to a stranger, a heartfelt compliment, an honest conversation, a moment of silence watching the sunset. These seemingly small things are the threads that weave a rich tapestry of a fully lived life. Imagine a teacher who stays late to encourage a struggling student, not because it's their job, but because they understand that investing in others is part of living fully. Their impact ripples far beyond the classroom. To live your life fully, you must also release the burden of perfection. Waiting for the right time, perfect conditions, or flawless plans only keeps you stuck. Life is imperfect, unpredictable, and fleeting. The true magic happens when you leap despite fear, embrace failure as a teacher, and keep moving forward with an open heart. The fire of living fully burns brightest when you align with your purpose. It might be creating art, nurturing relationships, advocating for justice, or simply spreading kindness. Purpose fuels passion, and passion fuels life. When you live fully, every breath becomes a declaration that you will not settle for less than your truth. You owe it to yourself to break free from the chains of doubt, routine, and fear. To live fully is to honor your dreams, your values, and your unique light. It's the loud yes shouted through quiet moments, the relentless pursuit of joy, and the deep commitment to being unapologetically you. In every choice, every action, every heartbeat, living fully is the greatest rebellion and the most beautiful gift you can give to yourself and the world. Sometimes, the most powerful way to make someone realize what they've lost is not through anger or bitterness, but by quietly showing them a glimpse of what they once had and could never replace. Giving them that glimpse is an art, a subtle yet undeniable reminder of your value, your light, and the unique place you held in their life. It's a way to communicate without words, to evoke memories and emotions that stir their conscience and make them question what slipped through their fingers. Think of a friendship that once flourished but faded because one person took the other for granted. Instead of burning bridges or throwing accusations, the one who truly understands their worth simply lives their truth. They thrive, grow, and glow with a confidence that speaks volumes. That radiant energy is the glimpse, a silent message saying, remember when we laughed like this? Remember the strength we built together? That's not replaceable. It's not about revenge. It's about honoring yourself enough to let your life be the testament to what they lost. There's a story in every breakup where one partner clings desperately, trying to fix what's broken with tears and pleas. But what if instead you chose a different path? One where you walk away with grace and dignity, leaving behind memories of the person you were when you were whole and unshaken. When you carry yourself with that unwavering self-respect, you give them a glimpse of the joy, stability, and love they let slip away. They see the contrast between what they have and what they lost. And that realization burns deeper than any argument ever could. Imagine a colleague who underestimated your capabilities and ignored your contributions at work. Instead of sinking into resentment, you channel that energy into excelling in your craft, building new skills, and stepping into leadership. Your success becomes a living proof, a glimpse of the potential they overlooked. When they see you thriving without them, it unsettles their complacency and opens their eyes to the value they dismissed. It's not about making them jealous. It's about standing firm in your worth so brightly that they cannot ignore it. Giving a glimpse of what they had also applies to everyday relationships, the ones that get lost in the noise of routine and taken for granted moments. It's in the subtle gestures, the way you smile when you catch their eye, the calm confidence in your presence when you don't chase their attention, the quiet grace with which you hold your space. It's these moments that remind them of the connection they once cherished but failed to nurture. You don't have to shout your worth. Sometimes the softest glow is the most painful to lose. This idea extends to family dynamics as well. When a family member doesn't appreciate your kindness or presence, Giving them a glimpse of what they had is about embodying the love and strength that once held you together. It could be through your achievements, the peace you cultivate within yourself, or the respect you demand without anger. Your life becomes the mirror, reflecting their loss back to them, gently but powerfully. There's immense power in silence paired with action. When you stop explaining, justifying, or pleading, and instead start showing the best version of yourself, happy, thriving, confident, you give them a glimpse that words could never capture. It's like a silent movie playing in the background of their mind, reminding them of what they walked away from and what they might never find again. Consider the artist who was once overshadowed by doubt and criticism, but chose to rise and create boldly. Their art, their passion, and their success become the glimpse to the world and to those who doubted that they lost someone extraordinary. This is the kind of glimpse that doesn't need permission. It's earned through perseverance and self-belief. Sometimes giving a glimpse means showing kindness to others when they expected bitterness. It's the unexpected generosity, the calm in chaos, the love in rejection. These moments reveal a strength they never truly saw before. It's a reminder that losing you means losing the best version of someone who was once integral to their happiness and growth. You don't have to chase or beg for recognition. The glimpse you give is in how you carry your story forward, unapologetically, with pride, and with the quiet certainty that your value was never theirs to take away. When they look back, the memories you evoke won't just be about what you did or said, but the irreplaceable person you were and still are. By living fully, loving fiercely, and standing tall, you become that unforgettable glimpse. You become the lesson they didn't learn, the treasure they overlooked, and the presence they regret losing. This is the power of giving them a glimpse, not through confrontation, but through the undeniable brilliance of your life shining on. The journey you have embarked on is not just about making someone feel the pain of losing you. It's about awakening the giant within yourself, the unstoppable force of self-worth, confidence, and resilience that no one can take away. Remember, your value is not defined by someone else's inability to see it. As the great Maya Angelou said, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody." When you step into that truth, you rise above the noise, above the judgment, and above the heartbreak. You become a force of nature, unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. Life is too short to dim your light for anyone who refuses to appreciate it. As Oprah Winfrey so wisely reminds us, surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. If someone doesn't see your worth, that's their loss. Your energy is precious. Invest it in the people and pursuits that honor your brilliance. When you live from this place of deep self-love and respect, you no longer beg for attention or validation. You command it. You don't chase, you attract. You don't settle, you conquer. Think of the legendary Nelson Mandela, who taught us that I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. No one can steer your life unless you give them the wheel. When you reclaim your power, you stop being a victim of loss and start being the architect of your destiny. The pain of losing you isn't a punishment, it's a reflection, a mirror that shows what they failed to nurture. But you keep moving forward, fueled by a vision bigger than any rejection or heartbreak. There's a saying that what's meant for you won't pass you by. Trust that those who are meant to stay in your life will cherish you respect you, and celebrate your growth. And those who leave, they're making space for something greater. Someone who recognizes your worth without question. This is not just closure, it's liberation. It's the fierce, beautiful freedom to be your fullest self without apology. In the words of Steve Jobs, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Live boldly. Live authentically. Live with the kind of passion that makes others wonder how you shine so brightly without them. When you do this, you become a living, breathing masterpiece, an example of strength, grace, and transformation. You inspire not just yourself, but everyone lucky enough to witness your journey. Never forget that true power lies in your hands. Eleanor Roosevelt said it best. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Refuse to consent to doubt, fear, or self-neglect. Stand tall, speak your truth, and walk your path with a heart full of courage. The world needs your light, your voice, your unique magic. When you give up on yourself, you give up on everything you were meant to become. So embrace the pain of loss, not as an end, but as a catalyst. A fiery force propelling you into your greatness. Let it sharpen your vision, strengthen your resolve, and deepen your self-love. Because the most magnificent revenge is not in making someone regret losing you, but in thriving beyond their wildest imagination. When you become unstoppable, undeniable, and unapologetically you, they won't just feel the pain of losing you, they'll be haunted by the irreplaceable light that only you could shine. This is your moment. Own it. Live it. Rise with the fierce confidence of a queen who knows her worth and will never settle for less. Remember, she remembered who she was, and the game changed. So change your game, change your life, and let the world see the incredible force that you are. Because you are not just someone to be missed, you are someone to be remembered forever.